I don't care about these people. Hi, we are here on YouTube now, and I am James Lott Jr. And this is the GH3 Spotlight and Recap here on JLJ Media. Welcome. It is Soap Sunday. It's Shady Sunday. I was being shady for a second, which is what I do. Oh, that's
Hi, we are here on YouTube.
Quiet, James. Quiet, James. No two Jameses. We can't have two Jameses. One is enough. Let's see the chat room in here.
I thought it was 8 is enough.
8 is enough. I was watching that the other day too, with Dick Van Patten.
There you go. Your life with love, James.
What? I watch a lot of Love Boat.
Love Boat. A lot of guest stars come through there. A lot of folks come through there.
Like Tristan Rogers, who was in the news.
Yes. So yeah, so okay, everybody. So of course, Lacretia Lyon's here. Frank Moran is here. Hello, everybody. We're here. And I have my Metro Court mug. I'm ready to spill some tea. We're gonna talk about it all, you guys.
I have my mug, since some of y'all will be thinking that he's yours now. But we'll get into that later.
Yes, we will. Everybody's coming in. Okay, you're excited. Good to hear you. Yes,
the birthday bash.
Hey, there it is. Look, it's there.
There. Frank, you have to watch it and you have to give us your thoughts.
Yes.
I already feel this is going to be terrible.
You guys, so we got lots to talk about. But first, before we begin anything, one thing I got to tell you guys, it's Soap Sunday. Earlier today, I had Sean Dominic on. He is hot. He's nice. He's Dr. Nate Hastings on YNR. It was a one-on-one that's out on YNR Spotlight. It was really great. Also, Bone Beautiful Me Spotlight was on. Me and Amanda Russ broke it down and laughed the whole show about this show. Everybody's begging. There's a week of begging on Bold and Beautiful. So go ahead and watch that. That's out now too. Right now, Dish and Days is on. They have Mike Manning. Don't watch them. Watch them afterwards. Stay here. Watch Dish and Days. I saw Tony Moore for the first time in a year in person yesterday at Cracker Barrel.
I love that y'all went to Cracker Barrel. I almost commented, but I didn't want it to get all, you know how Twitter does.
I know what kind of comment you're going to make. We would have fine with it, but yes. We went to Cracker Barrel yesterday. We saw each other. I was with my sister. He was with his friend, and we all can spend time together with our mask on and stuff. Pictures. So yes, we did that. So I get to see him. But that's Dish and Days over there. Dish and Days. They do that 3 o'clock and they're on right now. And tonight at 8 o'clock, I have my leading ladies of the JLJ Media audio shows. 5 wonderful women, including Tammy Govea, will be joining me at 8 o'clock tonight live, talking about why James Lott Jr. is the best producer and director in the business. But Lacretia Lyon is on one of my shows, and so is Frank Moran. So they both are on some of my drama. So go ahead and, listen to one of those when you have some time. But that's tonight, 8 o'clock. So that's your whole day of stuff. I just killed it. Thank you.
That
that was some David Carradine there.
Okay, I got it.
I go Kung Fu.
Okay, you guys. So hello, everybody in here. I got one thing I need to say to you people out there who were mean to me and some of my co-stars because we were not on the air the last couple of weeks or so, or a week or so. I was going to tell you quickly. I lost a stepmother, and Tammy's dealing with her mother-in-law having brain surgery. And Amanda lost her father to COVID. So some of us had some things that were going on, so we could not be on. So stop being mean. Just accept when we come back on the show and accept us. We love doing the show. We know it's my biggest show of the network. We love being here. We love doing Soap Sundays, but sometimes life gets in the way. That's all I have to say about that.
You're going to save the drama, right?
Yes, exactly. Save the drama. Save the drama for our shows, not in real life, people. We love doing these shows, but life happens. We're here today. Speaking of life happening, okay, first of all, what's about the whole wedding? Basically, the whole week was the wedding. And Crazy Nina. Those were big things. We're gonna that. But first, some offline. We haven't had this much offline news on GH in a long time.
Oh yeah, there is a reason that I mean, it's some of this stuff. That was why we didn't do one of many reasons we didn't do a show for Believe in Soaps on Monday. It's like too much of this is in the air, and knowing at least I believe HR is involved, which was what my sources say with certainly the first strike. So that
for sources.
I'm out of the loop on all of this. The only thing I got. I got a text from James Lott Jr. or a message to both Lacretia and I about something about Ingo and Maurice. So I saw that little clip, but that's it. I don't know anything
Yeah.
else.
Oh, you don't? Oh, you don't, Frank?
I
Oh, my
don't
God.
know.
Okay. Well, folks out there, we're going to start with, because people want me to talk about this. Oh, thank you, Geneva. That's very nice of you. Okay, I like that. Okay, I'll take that. It's accepted. First of all, there was the video that went out with Ingo Rademacher and Maurice Bernard regarding Nancy Lee Grahn, which is the one that Frank's talking about. And I know for me, and I know Lucretia and I told us a little bit earlier in the week, we had a show we did together. Something else, it's coming out soon. I didn't say anything really bad about it. I know a lot of folks are pissed at Maurice. I felt like he was making light of the situation, which in some ways you got to do that. So when you work together, you do that. Maybe you shouldn't have posted that. Maybe that's too sensitive, I guess, right now. But he already talked to Nancy. The things were already happening behind the scenes. But a lot of folks got mad at Maurice.
Yeah, because I think everybody already knew about Ingo and Nancy. And again, like I say, the information I was able to obtain was that the video happened just after a incident on set, which is why the Tasmanian Trump supporter, I won't use names, we'll just figure that out, why he may have said that. And I don't, it's hard, but I guess since I'm the woman, I'll say, I don't feel like Maurice had any bad intent. I feel like he was making a joke. And that's where I'll stay on there. But I mean, it's no secret that Joe and Nancy have had words, and apparently they did before this. But HR was handling it. That's kind of why we were like, oh, let's wait till we say something. Wait to say something till we know all the facts. But I kind of thought they put out an official statement. And this is the thing: is like Twitter has almost made a lot of these situations worse by spreading them around. But again, these are the same people who love to pounce on things but don't want to be accountable themselves. And this is where I say, fans, like, let them handle it. They're all adults. They may not have been acting like adults, but it is what it is, and it doesn't help to spread it around.
Here's the thing. Maurice said he talked to Nancy, but he did his statement. And yeah, so Nancy was offended. I'm sure she was on some level, but they talked about it. And coworkers needle each other. They do things all the time. Co-hosts do things all the time. And so I don't know. I just felt like they're going to take care of it, but Twitter likes to get involved, of course, because it was put out there. It was put out there, for everybody to see. But yeah, once Twitter gets involved, then it escalates. So I think it was just very interesting. But apparently we know Egan wasn't joking. But I'm saying
it is what it is between the two of them. I just felt like Maurice was trying to make light of a bad situation, and he at least did reach out to Nancy himself and talk to her. So to me, that says a lot about him. I mean, I agree that it was his, thing he was on, but it is a tough situation anyway.
No, and that's one thing. It is a tough situation, period, when your coworkers don't get along. And I think it seems like Maurice gets along with both of them on some level, so that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like he has to. I've been there before, so I know how that is. I mean, you've been there where two people don't get along. You get along with both of them. It happens. These two right here. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. I like both. They don't like each other. I like both of them. But no. So that was one thing that happened this week. Another thing that happened this week that was very interesting. The Tristan Rogers cameo video talking about the Wes Ramsey storyline of Peter and just how GH and also GH in general, how the storyline was. And and then Wes kind of clapped back. So frankly, you don't know this story. Apparently you don't know this one.
Nope. I love Tristan Rogers. I'm not following him in the cameo.
Yeah, I don't either, but it was something that, again, and I like Amaya Baker, she points that out as well. It's just, they made the Tristan situation worse because Tristan didn't even do anything. And it's true. He responded to a fan as he would, because Tristan is this nice, honest guy, and we all like him. And I'm sure that he has good relations with these people. And he was actually very defensive of Wes. But I understand that I at least try to have empathy. This is maybe a word people should look up and consider themselves. But I'll get more of that with this soap psychology segment on my show later. But it's one of those things that it's like, guys, like the situation here was definitely 100% made worse by the fact that fans kept sharing it, and you were tagging people and you were spreading it around. And that was where it became a problem, because had the one person who just got this cameo just enjoyed it like it was supposed to be for them, then nothing would have happened. But this is another one of those situations where, because people they get something juicy and they just can't help themselves and they keep spreading it around. And sadly, because the person who was talked about, the question was asked to Tristan, is somebody that you guys don't like and you love to just crap on. That's the reason you did it. And to me, this certainly doesn't make you the good guys. I mean, I'm sorry, but this whole situation could have been easily blown over. No big deal. Wes wouldn't have felt the need to respond. And to me, his response was respectful, as was Tristan's. I don't think either one of them did anything wrong, guys, because, you do have the right to defend yourself. And I understand feeling hurt by that and feeling the need to stand up. And whether I agree with it or not is neither here nor there. This whole situation, you guys made it worse. Not necessarily people watching this, but the people on Twitter who were spreading it around instead of just being adults. Again, I get we're all adults. Surely if you're on Twitter, I think you have to be. But it's like, act like it.
So, because Cameo, you pay to have some celebrity record something for you. So somebody decided, hey, I really want Tristan Rogers to answer this question. I'm going to pay him to answer this question.
They did. I'm curious as to how much they paid. I'm going to do some heavy research here on Cameo, because it's like, you paid this amount of money. And again, you started some shit. Yes, you did. But you shouldn't feel good about that. That's all I'm saying. It's like, it's just all a little icky, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand like getting a birthday message or something like that. Hey, a congratulatory message from a celebrity that you're a fan of. But just answer a question. Hey, like what?
Hey, I mean, you got to pay people. These are fans, they can pay for whatever they want, right?
No,
they
it's
dance
true.
in the rain. Do dance in the rain for somebody. Pay me enough money. I'll dance in the rain and get sick.
Well, you're going on Cameo, right, James?
I'm not big enough to be on Cameo. I don't think I actually have some friends on Cameo. I'm like, who's paying you what? You're not nobody.
Oh, I know. I have a friend where he's like, you should get on it. If I can make money, you will. And I'm like, really?
You guys, no, there's one person next to AfterBuzzer who's on there, and I'm like, why are they on there? I'll tell you guys after the show.
Ooh.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
I was like, we need this.
There's a person.
But yeah, this paid $70, $69.99.
Hey,
for that.
Little T too. $70, Frank. I'll tell. Do you like? I'll hate that bitch for $70. Sure, why not?
Yeah, you guys don't think that they say the same thing about me and reenact that video all the time? Like, oh yeah, oh I'm sorry, you got to work with Lacretia today. But here's the beauty. I don't give a fuck.
That's what I love. We love you. That's what we love you.
Yeah.
No. In all seriousness, so my take on the whole thing is a little bit like Lacretia's, but a little different take. Because first of all, I hate Peter, character Peter. I don't hate Wes Ramsey because I met him once. I don't know him. He was nice when I hung out with him once a long time ago. But I've been very open about I hate the character Peter, blah, blah. That's again, I can separate actor from character. I'm not that crazy person. But when I saw Tristan's camera, I saw it, I actually watched it. It was literally very much in defense of Wes.
Yeah.
Like it was literally like, people are going, he should have. I'm like, but no, he's actually defending. Actually, the GH writers should be pissed. And Jason producer be pissed because he was spilling tea on them and saying how the storyline is bad. It's not. He said, don't blame Wes. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
Like he was literally on Wes's side. So I think it's kind of thing you have to kind of look at going, wait a minute. He's actually defending him in a way. Maybe it was a long-winded way of kind of get, but it was a way he was defending him, saying that storylines happen. They're trying to write themselves out of the storyline now. I admitted to a few people that I actually have been liking his performance the last week or so. It's hard for me to say that.
He had a few moments, yeah. I mean,
my voice can't get it out, Lacretia.
Yeah,
Can't get it out.
I know.
But I have enjoyed. I mean, making him a villain makes me actually okay. Now I can kind of
that works, and I feel like he finally has a direction with the character. And much like Tristan, I tried to defend him too, where it's like, look, the reason you don't like the storyline is probably the reason he's having so much trouble with it too. It's changed too many times, and that's hard as an actor to get that direction and get this direction and go over. So it is one of those things that it's like, and again, I don't think either one of them did anything wrong. I do agree with Maya Baker, who said the fans blew it out of proportion. Yep, and that was a problem.
So this is where I disagree with Lacretia. I do think the fans blew out of proportion. That probably weird, but I think West should have kept his mouth shut. That's just my opinion. I think he should just shut the fuck up and not say anything. I think Tristan was really trying to help him. I think West should have stayed quiet, took the high road, and I said nothing. That's just my opinion. Just said nothing, and then it would have died down. But then the fact that he
I agree with that. Yeah.
And then the fans went all the way in. Then it's because it was like, oh my god. And the whole point is none of us like the storyline, so we all want it to end. So that's kind of like the point. So it's like, oh, now it's more in the news. So I was just kind of like, I wish Wes hadn't said anything. I think sometimes you don't have to say anything, or could have said thank you, Tristan, or just something. I think we should have been. When he did that long, I read his long rebuttal. I was like, and he didn't do anything wrong either. And he didn't do anything right. He didn't do anything wrong. But it's like that just added more fuel to the embers, the fire.
Yeah. For fans. And that's where I'll say that, look, like I don't think he did anything wrong, but I do agree that saying nothing might have worked better. It might have died down. But I do understand that if people are coming at you, like the need to defend yourself, and that's where I'll say, guys, like if you guys had let it die down, he certainly wouldn't have responded. It's just a domino effect where it's like, it's just icky all around.
So it became a big thing. So that was the big thing, Frank, this week. It all became really big.
And then we forgot about the other big thing, if you know what I mean.
And next, kids, it's not over yet, kids. And you always started to mention it here, that I went on Twitter yesterday to post something. And I was like, oh, it popped up. It was I guess it was one of the first things on the page. And I was like, oh my God. And okay, so folks, about a year and a half ago, I was hacked. Someone posted 4 things of gay porn on my page, and I get up early in the morning. So I get up and I always
wake up to a big black cock, huh?
Thank you, everybody. But I'm bummed. Oh, anyway. There you go. So, yes, but no, I went online first thing in the morning to post something. I saw it. So people were like, "Oh, James, you've been hacked," and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And I was trying to change my password on Twitter to stop it because something was going to happen again. And I was trying to get into it was crazy. It was just crazy. But I caught it early enough. But then what happened was, which would be happening to Tristan too, I had to get a whole new account. For some folks, it was still showing up. And even though I erased it and took it off, it was still showing people's feeds. I'm like, it was there forever, so to speak. So I got a whole new account. That's why if you see my account now, it said my account was hacked. This is my new account. I lost like 7,000 followers. I couldn't get it out. I couldn't get it. It kept interrupting. People were like, I still can see it. I'm like, well, first of all, it's just sex, whatever. But no story. But I couldn't get out of their brains. So Tristan had a straight porn movie put on his page, and it was very explicit. And again, I was like, oh my God. And so it sat there for hours. He's not on there all the time. That's what I was thinking. Somebody's, and so I have his number. So I actually texted him. But he didn't answer. I said, you might want to go on your Twitter account right now because something's going on. And so, but I guess someone finally got to, I'm sure it wasn't me. I think somebody got to him and finally told him, but they told him. He said he was royally hacked. He said, that's the word he used. I was royally hacked. Everybody started laughing. But luckily, folks were like, you've been hacked, you've been hacked, you've been hacked. And not thinking, oh my God, he's doing something crazy. I had a few people would happen to me were like, well, James, you're going to put out gay porn. I'm like, I'm not putting out gay porn. I'm not even in the movie. It's not me. I'm not doing gay porn. Like,
you only put out your own gay porn, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I'm my own OnlyFans or anything. They got mad. Some people got mad at me. And I'm like, why are you getting mad at me? I got hacked. I got hacked. I've been on here for like 10 years. I've never done, like, why would I do it all of a sudden? So I think with Tristan, he was going through the same things. Like, obviously I was hacked. It's not me in the films, that kind of stuff. So poor Tristan.
Obviously.
I feel bad. But people, the jokes, and Lacretia made a joke with me yesterday too. The jokes that it was a Wes Ramsey or it was Laura or Peter August did it, or Faison did it. The jokes were kind of funny after a while. They were going on about them. So.
Yeah, that's one thing I've got to say about all this mess behind the scenes. At the beginning of the week, it was uncomfortable and you're like, ugh. But now it's funny. Once you had the porn and the fact that crazy fans honestly think that Wes or Laura would do this.
Yeah,
it's like, boy, the soap opera you guys have in your mind that happens behind the scenes is like hilarious. And I don't mean you guys who are necessarily watching the show. You guys, as in the people who honestly post this crap on Twitter. I mean, I have a whole segment on soap Twitter because it's become so just insane to me. But at least now we're at a funny point with porn.
Yes. So you missed that too, Frank, yesterday.
I'm sorry you didn't like my gift, James. Sorry.
I love it. That's how it is, kids. That's how it is. So a lot of stuff was going on outside of the show this week involving most. And let's not forget, speaking of gifts, the gift that we'll keep on giving for a while, Maurice Bernard's birthday video. Lacretia, do you want to explain what it is to the folks out there?
Well, to be fair, I haven't watched all of it, and I do feel like I might need some things before. I don't know. I mean, but Maurice made a video. I say a video, a little show with Ken Schreiner, Dominic Zambronia, Steve Burton's in it a little bit. Ian Buchanan shows up. You got Riel Andrews. So he and his buddies made a little film for his birthday, and it is on YouTube if you guys want to enjoy it.
Yes. Frank's ready. He can't wait.
Can't wait? Question mark.
Yeah, so that's
I thought you meant the gift of James Patrick Stewart in Tux all week. So that was why I was like, oh, we're gonna get to the wedding talk now.
Well,
that was just a gift from me, I guess. I don't know.
Well, no, we're gonna begin with the wedding because the other storyline's tired, so we'll get to that in a second. But the wedding, okay, so this week, the wedding that nobody cared about, double weddings that nobody wanted to have happen, none of the three of us here were excited about it, began. Now, before I even begin, did either of you ever even think the wedding was gonna go through? Did you really think it was gonna go through? Frank, what you said?
No. But it's I mean, like the drama I felt centered more around the Peter and Maxie wedding. I mean, the Finn and Anna, whatever. I cared so little about that, even as everything was melting down around them. I'm just like, I don't care, guys.
Here's all
with this. I cared about this.
It's all Peter. I have to say this week, to me, the pacing, it was very soapy. I love Umbrella Stories. I love how they have me on suspense every single day. I watched it in real time every day. I'd get home from work or whatever, and just turn it on. It was so much it was like the old days where it's like, they reveal this, they reveal that, and this person comes in, and that person comes in, and Peter's like, what are you talking about? And Max's like, you guys are crazy. I actually enjoyed that part this whole week. I enjoyed all, and we're going to talk about some great performances that happened, but I would say I would agree with Frank. The other side of it was completely boring. And then at the very end, you have this, that's one of the things I liked about you, or whatever. Moment. It was just like, what? And homeboy here. So that we'll get to that in a second, I guess, obviously. But let's go to the way. Let's go to Peter. Peter, downfall. Well, the downfall, I would say, question mark of Peter.
They really made Valentine, do all the dirty work, huh? But I did like that at least Mommy Anna came in at the end. But it was, and of course, my performer of the week, and every other week he's on is James Patrick Stewart. But just all those little beats. And like you say, there was a twist here, a twist. It was just, you didn't know what was going to happen. And with all of this, and was anyone going to get married? Because, but I do feel like like a lot of this did set up for further, and that includes Anna and Valentine getting together, because this whole thing, you know, when Finn's issue with her, I kind of like that they made it that he's obviously jealous of their relationship and she confided in him. And while he understands that they feel like they are sort of the people responsible for Peter, it was telling about their relationship as a whole and how it's evolved. And I thought that that was really smart how they played a lot of those beats with Peter. And that was the thing, is all these different beats they had with Peter in the last couple weeks was just phenomenal.
It's gotten better. I would say definitely it's gotten better. I had to laugh because I thought of Frank Moran, of course, when your buddy Mac was full center this episode.
Right, baby.
The Scorpio Jones, the Vane clan, as he called it later, was there, and he punched Peter.
There you go. You don't mess with Max Scorpio, man. You get that, you know, that right hook of justice coming at you. What I thought, two things that drove me crazy were the wedding itself. They had way more seats than necessary, so it just like it kept on sticking out like. Oh, why did you decide to put more seats than you have actors? Why would you do that? Just take that away. It just like it's so sparsely attended. It's so awkward. And then the other part was just how terrible. You know, as much as I enjoy Valentine, and you know he knows he's usually the smartest guy in the room. This plan to abduct Peter, great, but then we're just gonna stash him in the parking garage.
It might have noticed. Yeah, I get a lot of people had a complaint with that, but it was one of those things like, wouldn't you see them getting him out? So that probably was the best plan to kind of keep him. But I love Dante, but they really made Dante ruin a lot of stuff this week. And it was like, why? Like, I mean, he was great, of course, but even he was like, if I'd have known it was Peter, I'd have left him there.
I know. There was so again, the plan gone wrong. You guys work for WSB, and that was your plan. Like that, I mean, really, just keep him downstairs for a while until this happens, all blows over. Like you should take him somewhere else. These two are smart people. This is kind of like a half-assed plan.
If you're able to smuggle him down to the basement without anybody seeing you into that room, then dump him in a truck or a van, and drive off. Why don't you just stop there and go like, all right, we'll just keep him down here where somebody on the wild chance could possibly find him.
So someone's asking, Daisy Fly's asking, this is what I understand. How is Peter the baddest guy in town? I don't think anybody's saying he's the baddest guy in town, or why is he better than Valentine, worse than Valentine? Valentine has actually admitted his mistakes. Valentine has admitted his mistakes and actually owns up to them. Peter has not admitted anything. I think that's why that's the problem. Actually, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and Anna gave him every opportunity to do so. And that's what's interesting about Peter confessing everything to Valentine, is he thought Valentine would have his side because of this guilt he has for him. And I do still feel like they may change it to Peter being his son and make a lot of this situation worse in a way. But Valentine did the right thing, and he has been trying to do the right thing. And he was even willing to give up his own daughter, thinking that he was bad for her. And this is a guy who's sort of changed, just like with Franco, the ending excluded, more like even with Ava, the way that Ava is now, like people can change and people can do better, but Peter, it was all fake. He was still that bad person. And that's why it was nice to see Valentine care enough about Maxie and Anna and everybody else to where he was like, nope, I'm just going to throw him under the bus. They need to know this is serious. This is the only way anything's going to happen. And then, like you said, thank God for Ulbricht. I mean, I love Liesel. I was so happy that she was the one to at least interrupt.
So, go ahead. Please go ahead.
I was bummed, as you were mentioning about Dante, just that I was like, oh, I mean, as much as I applauded Valentine stepping up and saying, all right, Maxie, I'm going to tell you everything. I was like, are we just going to go full tilt? We're going to click that pen and watch Dante go bonkers?
She almost did it too. She almost did it. I was like, oh my God. And Britt's like, Mom, what are you doing? I was like, oh, maybe she'll remember that. Like, you're about to do something with that pen.
Yes. I was ready. I was like, complete this mission, please. Complete this mission.
You and most of yours, Frank.
He doesn't have to die, but I would love to just let's get Dante past this programming and see what's next for Dante. I'm done with the pen. I was like, let's get it all done. Let's get it all out.
I love it. So yeah, so people are chatting going forth. Yeah, the problem. Okay, so here's the problem. All of us in this room, everyone in this room, everyone who's here, you guys are here. Everyone has done bad on the show. That's just how soaps are. Everyone has done bad on the show, right? From Carly to everybody, they've all done something. Maxie, they've all been bad in their past. But I think the problem is the problem with Peter is many of these folks have actually owned up to their crimes, have had their comeuppance on some level, have lost something because of their lies. All of them, from Valentine to Maxie to everybody. They've all lost Jason. They've all lost something because of their lives. They've owned up to them, and they don't pretend to be anything they're not. I think that's the difference. I think Peter is pretending to be this good guy outwardly, but he's behind the scenes threatening Spinelli, things like that. I think that's the problem. That he seems very hypocritical. Where the others, at least, they admit who they are. Carly knows who she is. Carly has always known who she is. But she got her comeuppance when Nell was alive. Nell reminded her who she was. It was kind of like this whole thing. That's why people are saying Peter is not necessarily worse, but that he's the bad guy right now.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing to bring up. Carly is that Carly is an interesting character because she sort of owns who she is in a way, but doesn't really apologize for it. And I think that's why some people don't understand the murkiness when it comes to people like Carly and Jason is like, yeah, they still do bad things and they still are in that business, but they sort of don't care and they sort of own that. Meanwhile, Nina is a good example, who's a character a little bit more like Peter, is the way they see themselves and the way they try to force other people to see them, and why it's kind of nice sometimes when characters like Carly, for example, are calling that out, where it's like, yeah, like, no, bitch, you ripped Avery out of Avery out of Ava's womb. Like, you are a crazy ass bitch. Like, and you were seeing that come back.
Yeah, and I feel like with Peter, it's, I
guess so now Martin's bringing up Sonny.
Oh, go ahead, James.
No.
Oh, I was just like, with every step storyline, it's always the cover up is worse than the crime. If he would have just come out early.
Sorry, Zoom does weird stuff sometimes. I can say stuff. Yes, so exactly. And but Sonny is not pretending to be a coffee importer. That is his front. He's not pretending.
Yeah, it's a front, guys. Like, yeah.
The front. He's like, he knows what he is. Again, it's the same thing as Peter is he's actually fronting, act like he's a good guy to Anna and everybody, but behind the scenes he's threatening everybody. Like he's two-faced. Peter is two-faced. Or at least the others, they are who they are. I mean, I think that's what the problem is. I think everyone on that show has done completely wrong, horrible things on there. And I guess in the soap world, they try to redeem them somehow. They go through redemption stories. I mean, Scorpio came on not as a good character either. Bobby Spencer was a prostitute. She brought Luke on to break up Laura and Scotty. I mean, that was the whole thing. Monica and Leslie fought years ago with Rick Weber. I mean, nobody was good. That's the whole thing. Nobody was good. They all came on, and some of them become pillars of society later. And occasionally, when Leslie comes on, she reminds Monica what she did all those years ago. Like, it's kind of like this. I think they're trying to actually do that with also Cyrus, to try to make him kind of a sympathetic kind of character. They're trying to work that a little bit, I guess. But I'm saying that Peter completely so far has been he's been presenting himself as one thing behind the scenes. When Drew's plane went down, it went down because of him.
You killed Scott's father. Sorry, I had to.
Sam needed her point. Sam needed her moment.
That's for you, Frank.
That's right. That dress of hers, her wedding dress was like
woo! With the little boob.
The brides were the ones who were supposed to get all the attention. I mean, at the wedding, just saying, and it was black. Maybe that was not wedding attire.
Much was made of that dress, though, Lacretia. Much was made of that dress in the press.
Oh, it's a beautiful dress.
It's a cute dress, yeah.
Yeah.
Sam was a con artist, which came on exactly. Anna and Monica tried to kill each other.
True, but I was like with Valentine, somebody brought on by killing Nicholas, and then he kind of spun him out to who he is now. But I think the show has done a great job with that character, where I actually enjoy him tremendously now. Or else you see somebody like Julian, who he puts a knife up into Alexis's throat, and I just felt like that character never was able to bounce back from that.
Exactly, I agree with you, Frank. And Valentine has been, and I would say the scenes between Valentine and Valentine and Peter. Wes and James Patrick Stewart were amazing. Actually, I saw James Patrick, he was my performer of the week. I said that he showed the confliction he had about what he was about to do. He really did show that.
Because
I was very
loves
impressed.
Peter. Yeah. And that's what's always been a part of the character, is that he always tried to look out for Peter because he felt guilty for what he did. And there's been this relationship of him sort of being the father figure in his life. And it was hard. But, Valentine has become a better person in scene. And he's like, I don't want to put Maxie in the situation because let's face it. I mean, Maxie has defended him to Lulu. I mean, they've gotten this bond because of Nathan and Nina. I mean, they are family. And it was nice to see him think about that and mention that, because that always seemed like a layer to it. But for him to actually say those words, it's like, yeah, we care about Maxie. We're not going to let you do this to her.
Yeah, it came from a place of protecting. And the thing about Valentine is really interesting is that even though he did stuff to Nina, he loved Nina, and he brought this scheme was because he wanted to make her happy.
Yeah, it was out of love. It wasn't out of malice. Like,
I wasn't trying to hurt her. He wasn't. And so I there's something there. And him and Anna have a bond. They have this bond that goes way back. And I just thought his confliction with Peter was so good. Just like when Anna, oh my God, Finola Hughes and Kirsten Storms did such a great job when they finally came face to face. Because she was like, she would not lie to me. She would not do, she would just tell me. And when she had this, oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. I thought that, because we're talking about years of because I made fun of the whole Scorpio Jones Devane clan, but they are family. There are this kind of banding family of, and even Tristan with this whole thing about, I care about you, Max. I mean, I'm not trying to really hurt you, but he's not who you think he is. And when Britt said, when all of a sudden when Anna and Robert agreed with my mother, then I knew something was up. It was like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was what I liked, is everybody sort of
you know how hard that would never happen.
Yeah, everybody sort of admitted, Maxie, we've been telling you this, we've been warning you, but no, you wouldn't really listen. And I thought that the scene with Britt later in the hospital was telling, because it's like, and this is where I'll say that Kirsten Storms really killed it, because there were several times I'm like, is she going nuts? Is she going to do something after all this? Because that would be good. I mean, I love her, and she's played every beat so wonderfully. But yeah, like you say, that whole clan coming together, and it is like, Britt's like, yeah, when Valentine and Robert and Anna all agree with my mother and they're backing up what she says, why are you not believing it?
I shared not knowing what Tristan Rogers' cameo is and all the West and all that stuff. But when Obrecht calls out Scorpio and says, "Hey, you said you were going to do something, you did nothing," I was like, "Yes, he did." Why didn't they let him? Why did they write more to this? But I'm sure there's many other storyline machinations that went on behind the scenes that maybe at one point he was going to have a bigger involvement with this. But
yeah, I like that. I like that they mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm thinking COVID was probably a hand of messing this stuff up. But yeah, I agree with you guys. I like when he mentioned that too. There are several things that they did this week that I was really happy about. They brought back in. I'll talk about that in a second. But yes, Kirsten she did kill it. I mean, the thing is, and Frank said this a few weeks ago, the fact that we just know that she can do more. We know that Kirsten Storms can act her ass off. She can do comedy, she can do drama. I feel like she's just languishing in this kind of chemistry-less relationship and playing the same beat every day.
And this is where I'll always give Kirsten Storms credit, and I've said it before and I'll say it again. She was in one of the worst storylines of all time, guys, and this ain't even the only one she's been in that's just certainly in the top 10 there. But guess what? She gave 110%, and that can't be said for everybody. So that's why I will always defend Kirsten. And yeah, I get Maxie's not always the best character and the best storylines, but she sells every bit of it, and I just hope this brings a better story to her now.
I will excuse my language, folks. I always say this. Certain actors will try to spin shit into gold, and they do the best they can. They get out there, they do the best they can, and I give them points for that because sometimes you're like, it's still shit.
Yeah, I believe Jen Landon said that to me about Katie McClain.
To you, Frank.
I was like, I agree. Yeah.
Yes, Frank Moran.
But I also feel like some of it seems like the nature of soap arcs where you've got to play a character kind of dumber than they would be to drag out the storyline, and then they finally get their moment to shine when you finally give them the weighty and meaty scenes when everything's revealed.
And that was Anna, definitely. That was
Yeah.
because for Farouk kept saying she wouldn't be this dumb,
Yeah.
but they finally had her connect the dots. And those scenes with her at the fireplace with Peter, that was a great scene too.
Well,
that was a great scene also.
And I'm not saying that this storyline has been great, but there was part of Anna's storyline that I think people were missing because, again, it's that empathy dot. It's that you have to think about Anna as Peter's mother, whether biologically she is or not. She has these memories of giving birth to him. She has this guilt in him being raised by Faison and him being Faison's son. It's one of those things that's why Finola Hughes was so good. And I agree that they wrote this super spy as dumb, quote unquote, but it really was more about a mother's guilt. And I always thought that was conveyed well, if not just by Finola's performance, but it did seem to be part of Valentine as well. This parental guilt they feel over Peter, that often made them feel dumb or seem dumb in the situation because they wanted the best for their son.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see what you're saying there. I can see, and she kind of said it a little bit. But we told her you can stop playing fake mommy now. Like, ooh, Peter. I said, Peter going dark, I can get into.
Yeah.
And when he got the gun, and he grabbed the gun, and like, well, I don't know we're gonna do that gun, but he grabbed that gun. Who's gonna kill or shoot or whatever? But he had to pull the gun out. I was like, okay, I can live for that. That works for me. I'm like, okay, now we just go full tilt. Let's just go over there. Because meanwhile, while this is all going on, you have Liesl coming out there with the video. To meet you, Merrick. What's wrong with you? You know what you're doing. And we played the video, which was very cool. Somebody goes, where'd she get that clicker? Well, who cares? She got the clicker. She got a clicker. But she came in at the right time to stop this thing. I love how they all played musical chairs. They all talk to each other like, what are you doing? This can't happen. Her and Valentine talking, it was like, just like, we have to stop this. Like, we have to stop this. And I said, when she walked over with that pen, was going to do that thing, and Frank was ready for her. And Valentine goes, I got to stop this.
Yeah.
All righty. Everybody's kind of standing going, what's going on? What's going on? It was so good. To me, it was soapy goodness. This week was soapy goodness. It was just complete umbrella story, fallout goodness.
Yeah, because we haven't even talked about Finn yet and where that goes with him, because those breakup scenes with him and Anna, I mean, Michael Easton can always bring it. And I will say that I've really enjoyed the Finn character. I mean, we all are going to love John McBain, and I liked Silas too. But I feel like Finn we finally get the side of Michael Easton where he can be goofy because he's a little goofy. And he can be this, zaddy, like with Violet. It's so cute. But then, like, I like that his issues are more like, jealousy of Valentine and his daughter. And that really made sense because all these other things really weren't going to be Finn's out. But it is one of those that he was committed to making a life with Anna and his daughter. And then it's about his daughter. And you're confiding in this other person instead of him when that's been their biggest issue the whole time is trust. And, when Violet came into their lives, like, she had to put Violet first, and it was like, why not?
And he was very noticeably. I mean, he was upset. He was like, "I'm done with it." I knew a part of her life would be this, but when he talked to was he talking to Sam about that? Or something talking about the whole thing about you think you can handle it, but you really can't, kind of thing. It's like it kind of happens. It's like he got into it. He thought he could, he could do it, but then he couldn't. Oh, this Casey Hutchinson's in the building. Hi, Casey Hutchinson. Forever and a day. It was. I get where you kind of think you can handle it, but then you can't after a while. Yeah. And it's not even Robert. Like the whole thing. Him and Robert are fine. Like you could think.
Yeah, I like their relationship.
Yes, it's not them. But it was Valentine. That was a problem.
It's because he's so damn sexy. That's what you got to. I mean, it's not like Robert's not, but I get it.
I know Tristan Roberts in person.
Yeah, it's like he's hot too. Yeah,
he's hot. Looking it out. He's hot. Oh yeah, check out Studio City. He's doing really good work on that show too.
Yeah, you get to see Robert Scorpio cuss, guys.
Yes, you do. He's totally cussed on there. He's like with the ex Claudia Zakara, Carly.
I mean, it's very similar to Curtis and Jordan, where it's just keeping secrets from somebody that for fear of compromising somebody you love, while that individual is like, no, if you love me, you will tell me these things so I can help you with this. And I feel like so when Curtis says, well, at least they found out before he got married, and then just walks off.
Sure did. And Jordan's face was cracked. She was like,
Mhm.
and Homer's like, so something going on between you two? Something. I think like, what's going on? Curtis was like, exit stage left. He was done. He was shady. He was shady, and then he just walked off. I'm like, all righty.
I love Casey in the chat. Oh Lord, Valentine makes me grow a pair of ovaries. It's like, yeah, I got a second set, bro. That tux, that bow tie.
I love it. But Finn and Anna, their breakdown, their talk was very honest. I thought it was very. I mean, they've always had this kind of honest relationship.
Yeah.
That's what makes it so hard because she kept this stuff. And I get her point too. It was happening so fast. They're trying to figure this out. But I get his point. It's one of those things, not black or white. That's what I liked about the thing. It's like he could have did this. She could have done that. What it's bad all around. It's bad all around.
She could have told him a while ago that she knows for certain that Peter is, not her daughter. It's Alex.
Oh yeah.
Not her son. It's Alex's. I mean, especially
Freudian
after
slip there, Frank.
Yeah, there you go. As Finn opens up his heart and reveals something he never revealed about, is that he hooked up with Jackie Templeton.
Yeah.
And how hard it was for him to tell him that, but he did because he loved her. And
you're right.
And I just couldn't make that extra step.
And so I thought, I was thinking, oh no, when he showed up at her hotel room and she in a row, I was like, oh no, they're gonna kiss.
I thought they were gonna do it big time. Like
me too. I thought Jackie Templeton was gonna get her some Hamilton Finn
again.
Okay, but it didn't happen. But while the door is open and she's leaning against the door, that's just one of the many things that I liked about you. I was trying maybe attracted to you. And Gregory Harrison just happens to be walking around. I've got his name already on the show. He's walking. First of all, Gregory Harrison looks good. I don't know what fountain of youth potion he's drinking. Because I was like, how are you Hamilton Finn's father?
I know that whole family is just sexy.
Great.
It's like, I mean, I think his name is Gregory Chase in the show, but Professor Gregory Chase. But yeah, that whole family. That's why that gratuitous like boxing scene of a while ago, I was like, like.
I was all for it. Yeah, I was all for it. But they're a hot family. But he walks in right at that point. So finally, Frank, that storyline's coming out finally. I think it's finally coming to a head, Frank, for you.
Ray, I still don't. I think this is the worst storyline ever. It's the worst storyline. It's too late. The ship has sailed, and this is going to be awful. This is
the worst storyline ever, Frank. Really, after all this other stuff we've talked about.
That's true. It's true. Yeah, I don't know why they decide like, hey, now when it's really, really awkward and creepy, let's do this storyline now. So
I don't want Chase to be his son. I really don't.
Yeah, it's just
I want Harrison to be his brother, not his son.
I know. They're just such an adorable little family. I love Chase, and when he took Violet with him and it was like, I'm going to give you a t-shirt to sleep in and tuck you into my bed. It was just so sweet. And I love that he wanted his dad there. Yeah, what?
I wish he would tuck me in the bed. I mean, he can do it. Josh Wicker can do it. I could watch him just walk through a scene. I don't even care if he's saying anything. I just think from the very beginning, I was attracted to him, thinking he was the hottest thing since sliced bread. And I like bread. I like some Josh Wicker. I watch his Christmas movies. I don't watch Christmas movies.
Yeah. It was a good movie, though, James. I made you watch it. I'm sorry.
No, it was good. It was good. It was good. I watched it. It was good. But I'm just telling you, though, I'm like, Hamilton Chase can do it. He can do no wrong for me. So that's another story.
Even his little fist bump with Violet there as they're at the altar.
Yes, that's cute.
So cute.
It got the Frank.
Yeah.
Frank gets everything.
There you go.
It's cute. It was very cute.
That's the thing is Violet, when she was just like, uh-oh, when Ulbrich came in, she's the cutest little girl.
She is the cutest little girl. They have some cute girls. They have some cute kids on that show. They do pick thanks to what's our buddy? Oh my
Mark
God,
Teschner, yeah.
Mark Teschner. I'm thinking all of a sudden he picks them. There's some cute who can act. See if you can act. Speaking of that, Kimberly McCullough just celebrated her 43rd birthday. Speaking of growing up on the show, so I was like, she's that old. She's been around forever. She's like,
Yeah.
she's been around forever. So, congrats to her. Speaking of good child actors, she grew up to be. And stuff.
It's probably the biggest travesty of that whole Peter storyline and with Obrecht. When Obrecht does get into Maxie's apartment to start looking for some dirt on Peter, she doesn't find that Colonel Sanders' recipe.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. You want that?
One of those plot holes. Yeah, you know.
She was right. She was on that bookshelf. She was looking around. I was like, "Come on, you gotta find it."
I knew you were going to say that. Casey goes, Frank, Lord, don't say this is the worst storyline. LOL. We've been through aliens, vampires coming back, almost every new cast member coming back as 8 different characters, and all the Qs dying. LOL.
I'll take any of those.
Yeah.
Lucy
the Vampire Slayer was hilarious, guys. Like, I'm sorry. No.
Make Sam Livy. Maybe that'll change everything. Yes, there's hope for you get Frank. That's so funny. Everybody look at the fist bump. Yeah. Now, meanwhile, so we got all this stuff stirring and going on. You got Franco. And I wrote online, I'm glad they remembered he did a video as Dranko. I forgot about that.
Yeah, it was. I was like, oh yeah, you never did watch that. That was
never did watch that. Remember, you never did watch that.
Yeah, they're really good about realizing there were plot holes these days and bringing them back up. And I like that it was Cameron who was like, "Oh yeah, remember?" And I thought you may want that because he knows that Drew's in his head. But I would just say, like, every scene with Cameron and Franco, and even the scene with the Drew video of like how much Cameron and Liz and everybody loves Franco and he is loved. It's like that shit just makes me cry so hard. Maybe it's because I'm a big old girl, but damn, this family's adorable.
Lacretia, everybody. James is gonna say it again. My mouth can't even voice the words. It's just so hard for me to say this. But I am rooting for this storyline. I'm rooting for them. I was never a Frizz fan. Frizz fans know that. I'm actually rooting for them. They've won me over. They have fucking won me over. I'm cussing now because I'm so upset that I fucking like the storyline. I'm in it now. Lacretia, I'm in it. I'm in it now.
I'm oh, go ahead, please, Lacretia.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I mean, everyone's got to be in it now, right? After the ending of that wedding that didn't happen. Yeah, but go ahead.
I'm just saying that you got me. Lacretia, I'm finally on the Frizz side. I'm actually rooting for them to make it. Frank,
I really don't know why they shot that Franco with the tire iron scene so awkwardly. Like, well,
they're trying different camera angles. They're trying different things.
Yeah. Because they didn't want you to know it was Franco at first, but
who else would it be? You know it was going to be Franco.
Everyone wanted to bash Peter's head in with the tire iron. Like, really? It could have been anyone.
Could have been anyone, Frank.
You know, and I tell you, you go to Port Charles and you can find anybody by going into a stairwell. Anybody. You know.
How many babies have been lost in a stairwell? No.
It's better, but it's better, Frank, than being outside.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh yeah.
That same bench. We haven't seen that bench in a while.
Don't give them ideas.
Come on. I mean, why not? It's COVID. You can shoot in the open air.
That's true. You're right. That's true. You're right. You're actually right about that. That's true. But I was just like, oh my goodness. But Frizz won me over. In case I say thing, it did. They won me over, and him shaving his head, I got a little teary-eyed.
Oh yeah. Poor Eden having to do all that, like in the beginning. That was
I know, it was crazy. So, but it was very cool they did that, and I'm liking that you're right. Their relationship, Franco and Cameron, I've been rooting for them more than I am with Elizabeth and Franco. Like I want him to have his stepdad, so to speak. I mean, that's why I wanted it to work out. I know, it's crazy. I'm totally in now. Totally in. But now with Franco being the one who knocked out Peter, he's having the voices of, I mean, it's just like, oh my God. So what's going on next? I mean, now that changes everything.
But I'm also curious about where that storyline's going, though, because it would if Franco had been involved in more of the actual revelation. But now that everybody kind of knows, like I don't know what Peter's memories or Drew's memories inside Franco's head are going to offer in terms of incriminating Peter. Or
remember, Jason's still out there too. We haven't even got to Jason yet. There's a phone call made to him, but we don't even have. I mean, I have a feeling.
Yeah.
That's why I like this. Why I like this story because it's so many different parts playing to. You're right. What is Franco? What's that going to do? Who knows? I have no. What if he remembers something even more? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, Sam's phone call did not indicate, and this is the thing, is I hate to keep throwing Sam under the bus or even uttering her name in a lot of this, but it is one of those things that her phone call was very vague and could be leading Jason to complete his mission. Because while Franco said to Sam strictly, and this is where Sam could have had a power moment, but she didn't, because both Dante and Franco brought up Jason to her like she's his freaking keeper, and she didn't tell them off and just went with it. And it's like, girl, you should be, fighting for yourself. Be like, I ain't telling him shit. Like, we don't live together. I kicked him out, whatever. Like, you could have had a big girl moment there, but you didn't. But instead, your phone call was very vague and could indicate that Franco is James Franco again. Even though he said, just tell Jason I'm still me. And yeah, Tara Kendall, Sam sounded hell dramatic for no reason. But yeah, I was like, is it hell or hell? Now I can read hell. But yes, I agree that it was like, oh my God, she's acting like, I mean, her words may be very bad for Franco.
perhaps, I mean, but not as bad as when she said earlier to Dante that she was excited to meet the new Sam McCall. Like, I can't wait to meet who this person is. Get out of here. Just send this character out to Charles already.
Casey's funny. Lord,
no.
Lacretia, good night. They'll send under the bus, back over Sam. They're doing I'm the same with Peter. I mean, I don't like Peterson's character Peter so much. Over this show, I've totally talked shit about him. He'll never come on the show with me on it, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. And yeah, Casey, I am Suge Knight, and I'm running over that bitch. And I hope Lizzie does as well.
Right.
If this works bad for Frizz or Liz or her family or whatever, Liz better be driving the truck. Since Sam is a fictional character, I don't think I can in this instance, just verbally. But yeah, come at her, Lizzie, because her being a dum-dum may kill your boy.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
She did that earlier when she walked up to Curtis and Jordan and said, like, Curtis, I haven't heard from your lawyer yet. Where's the paperwork? Like, oh, all right. Thanks, Sam.
Yeah, like that was another time where it's like, why is Sam in these scenes other than, I guess, to meet minimum? I mean, objectively, I do know, like, to meet minimums. She was not in this storyline, so she's going to be in this one because she's, Maxie's maid of honor. Okay, makes sense without Lulu. I have to be objective there, but yeah, it was like, man, Sam, you just love stepping in it, and there with Jordan and Curtis, it's like, girl.
What made me sense to me was when she said, I don't think having him pay wouldn't help him or Jason. What, Sam? That whole line made
it was so dumb. Yeah,
made zero sense. After all this, now you're saying he shouldn't pay,
and killing Scout, like the way it was just like Scout's father, not Drew, who you freaking loved. Like there was not enough emotion there with who Drew was, and I feel bad for the, what do they call them, Dream fans? I don't know. I mean, I'm more of a Brew girl myself, Drew and Franco, but it is one of those things that it's like, it didn't play well for Sam with some of that, because you should be way more upset about Drew.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And do we think Peter is dead?
No.
He's not dead. No.
Not at all. But yeah, so all that was going on, folks. We just spoke an hour of all that. But there was no storyline.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. There was no storyline. So Nina tells little Wiley how she's related to him. And little Wiley gets upset and says to Miss what's her name, "You're not my real mommy."
More words than we've ever heard him say on screen ever.
Right.
Yeah, like
Right. I'm like nice talking.
the whole thing was very odd, but it was very expected. Because I will just say, like, and it is a shame that Willow and Nina aren't mother and daughter because they're such similar characters in the way that they have their bug eyes about the baby Wiley. My whole life revolves around this baby Wiley. Like, I don't have anything else other than that going on. Baby Wiley.
Yes.
And it's like,
Yes.
I mean, the sad part is we have to also factor in, because again, the show makes us, and being an adult, being objective, is that Nina mentally is the same age as Willow or close
That's
to.
true.
And that's why they act so much alike. It just seems really weird in a woman, Cynthia Watros, age, saying some of these things, but it is like, that's consistent with the character. It's a good acting choice. Like, objectively, I have to think about it like that. But boy, are these bitches crazy with babies. And I like, luckily Ava said it, and I've never been the biggest Willow fan, but how bad is it that I had to be on Willow's side in this? Because for all intents and purposes, this is the only mommy Wiley knows. He had two daddies in the beginning, and he had Willow in his life as a nanny anyway. And then with Michael, his, bio dad, and Willow, those are his parents. Nell was a crazy psycho bitch, crazy psycho bitch that I enjoyed watching. Do I think it's great that that's Nina's daughter? Of course, it's hilarious. That's what Nina, would have produced. I mean, and she probably would have been worse raised by Nina, but that's neither here nor there. Nina is unstable, and it's sad when Carly is right and when Ava's defending Carly. This is again like when Valentine and Ulbricht and Anna and Robert, they all agree on Peter being this guy. When they agree that you're crazy, Nina, when Carly and Ava, of all people, agree, listen, bitch, you crazy. You need to give the kid a break. And bless Michael's heart. This is where he shines, and being sweet and objective and putting her down easy. But it's like, you could have easily had a relationship if you just backed off. But that crazy desperation that is Nina's character, guys, this is how she's always been. We had a brief period when she was with Valentine and she was the adult when he and Lulu were fighting over Charlotte, where Nina was a good mom and was, a stable person. But that was very brief. I mean, let's not pretend that this character has been any different for a long stretch of time. She is desperate. She's crazy. And it's even worse when she was born with a silver spoon.
Yes. It's funny to me because I get where she's trying to go a little bit. I get, but it's funny watching Ava look at her like, okay, girl. And when she was like, trust me, I hate saying this, like I did earlier with Quiz people. You don't want to say it, but she's like, Carly kind of right. It's like, be nice to Carly, dude, kind of go the opposite direction, because Carly, she's right. Carly will dig her heels in more if you attack her. That's just how Carly does. Carly's a homegirl from the streets of Florida. She's a homegirl in a trailer park. She's ready to throw down. She's ready to throw down. That's some high society chick that Nina comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And Nina is young in abilities, because she was stunted all those years, so I see her being a little outrageous. But Nina's always been a little crazy, which I kind of like crazy Nina. The story has grabbed me. Yeah, her best works, which is crazy. But it's just kind of like, you did over. You know exactly what you were doing. You overstepped, and you're trying to play it off. And Michael should do his best for his child at first. I mean, it was kind of like, it was a little. I mean, because if you hadn't done that, you would have been fine, because Carly was overstepping. Because Carly was one who was overstepping. You were fine until you did that.
Yeah, and that's where I'll say that it's like, Nina, like, you knew you shouldn't have said that. And you being like, oh, I read all these things. You were, I mean, and again, in her mind, she is like 25 or whatever. But it's one of those that by the time you've been here and dealing with stuff, you should have had a better shoulder to be on, but you weren't. And this is what's best for Wiley, because that's confusing. He's too young to deal with all that. And you undermining Willow was not good. And again, I, much like Ava, physically hurt saying that. But when I'm on Willow's side here, and when Ava's on Carly's side, Nina needs to get that she is not in the right here. I mean, it's pretty bad, and I think even Valentine would agree with that. Because I know people there's a spoiler out there that they'll reconnect, but that doesn't necessarily mean much. Because
Right.
I do feel like Nina will be getting her revenge, and it will. There's a reason Sonny saw a blonde woman.
Exactly.
So, that's all I can say. But yeah, like that, what a lot of us expect will probably happen.
Yes, Frank.
Yeah, I mean, Lacretia said some great stuff, so I can't top that.
Can't top that. That's
No.
good. No, I think Nina and Sonny are getting together. That's the revenge. That's gonna be some good revenge. I'm ready. I'm ready for that. Actually, I want that to happen. I want her to know Sonny's alive. I want her to do like what she did to me. I'm gonna do to you, Carly. I want her to do that. I want her crazy. We need some crazy bitches. And wait a minute.
Oh yeah.
Let's go back to we were on a few weeks or whatever. A letter from Heather Weber came.
Yeah.
Heather Weber. Now they don't mention folks just because sometimes. Sometimes they do, but not always. I'd love to see some Robin Matson on soon. I'd love to have her back on the show, but they mentioned Heather Weber. I'm like, wait a minute. It's been a long time we've heard that name in a long time.
I wish Heather Weather was coming back, but I don't think she is.
But
But one thing I will point about those letters is I don't know who in the props department doesn't know how mail works, but trust me, I don't think Ryan was sending something to Spencer that he got himself. I think it was Spencer sent something to Ryan and the addresses were in the wrong space. And so yeah, but it was pretty funny to notice that. But I'm like, no, this is Spencer sent Ryan something. They just put it in the wrong spot, because why would this guy get Ryan's mail, but it's mailing out? Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm like, So there's some things that were kind of brought up here and there, and I saw a picture of Nicholas Bechtel. Now he's grown up.
yeah,
He's finally growing up. So it's like maybe it's time to bring him back on the show as Spencer.
We
Keep
need
mentioning Spencer, but
yeah. Because
Yeah,
I think Spencer's the one
think
messing with Ava. Yeah, like with the roach and everything. This is more.
oh yeah,
Spencer
that.
style.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
folks. The roach, not the kind of roaches we like. The roach.
Okay.
Lucretia knows that joke. Yeah, I said not the most. I was like, oh, and so I don't think it is Ryan. I really don't think. You're right. I don't think it is him.
Yeah.
He kind of looked like okay, but I don't think it's him. But do you think he's faking? You think he's faking?
I do think he's faking to a degree. I mean, he can't not be.
Yeah.
I would agree. I'm curious to see when they decide to pull the trigger on Ryan's like, oh, I got all my mobility back, and you didn't know it.
Exactly. But yeah, that cockroach and stuff, I think it's Spencer. I don't think he's as interested in them being married. He wants her gone. I think he does.
Yeah.
Which would be great, true Cassadine style. He always liked being a Cassadine. He always liked being.
Oh
that.
yeah.
So, see, I think that Sam be a Cassadine. If Sam went Cassadine, I might like her better. When she would take her that side of her family, I might like her better.
Yeah, Sam is a character that's similar to like, Peter and some of the other characters, where it's like if you just let them be one thing, then that would work. But when you're trying to make it all work, it doesn't always work. It's like you're this badass, but now you got to be a mom, and you have to, of course, do this business with Drew. I mean, there's just too much going on, and it's like, let's pick one avenue and go down there and see if that works. Like, because when Sam first came on and she was just sort of the adventure girl, that really worked for her.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I have to say, did we even care about it? This happened a couple weeks ago. Did we even care about the whole TJ Molly got rescue partner? Do we care?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it was sweet and all, but yeah, like, I mean, I liked them, but it wasn't that necessary. I mean,
We'll see him again in 6 months, and there you go.
I said to bring that. I was thinking, I don't think I really cared so much, but they are together. Apparently, they are now joined together in holy, whatever that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I could never see them again, and I'd be like, all right, they live happily ever after, from wherever they are. You can move them out of town or do whatever you want with them. Not that I want them to go.
Yeah.
They really, they've already closed up the Brando and Christina or Molly hooking up storyline. So let's just get Brando and Sasha together.
They do that. They need to get that. They need to go ahead and do that. Yes, they go ahead and do that.
Alexis had brittle bones. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
And Rip.
They just got to do something with Alexis. This whole the Neil storyline, the death of that. It's just, what are we gonna do? Just Alexis needs some TLC for sure. And
so Britt has a condition apparently.
Yes,
it's the Huntingtons, I'm guessing, because Faison had Huntingtons, and she's proven to be Faison and Ulbricht's kid. And yes. I do like that they're kind of slowly bringing this in, and then it's been brought up like a few times, like people have noticed. And that's interesting because I don't know if people are aware of Huntington's, so it might be a nice story to tell. If you watch House, the character 13 that was played by Olivia Wilde had that. And there was a lot to do with it and sort of explaining how it works. But yeah, it is something because that's what, ultimately, other than the bullet, that Faison would have died eventually anyway because of it. It was nice to see them bring that back and sort of do it with Britt, because as much we love Britt, but this isn't a death sentence right away. But it would be interesting to see, because she's such a gifted actress, to deal with this. And this is something that I feel like they're going to redo a little bit of the Jason and Robin stuff with him and Britt, because then he may be the person she confides into, because I like that they're slowly building this relationship. I think they have chemistry. I've said it before. Like, I have never, other than Robin, been that interested in any of Jason's pairings in the last few years. And this one really intrigues me because it's sort of in that similar vein. Is like, she is a true equal to Jason. She doesn't take his crap. She isn't that interested in the mob stuff or that against it. She is her own person. And the daughter of two master criminals. So it's an interesting direction, and especially putting that layer of it, that vulnerability to Britt, and her confiding in someone who would have to do with that. And I feel like this will be a good bonding experiment for them, as well as give Kelly Thiebaud some great material.
Yes, they did test Peter Ford. He didn't have it. So that's why.
Because he's probably not Faison's.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So he can lead it that direction because he didn't have the gene or anything. Yes, Kirsten Portia, I see chemistry. To me, that was normal. That seemed very normal. That's the direction to go.
Portia actually got to have some fun for once. That was nice because I love her. Yeah,
me too. I like her too. But also we saw Brad, our buddy Perry Shen was on briefly. But he said when she walked into that hospital, she was like, "You know what, man? I wanted to see it." I was like, who's in there? And it was Brad. So
their friendship is fun. Yeah,
it is very fun. They just throw him in when they can and throw him back out, and it's very nice that he's he's on. So, but I feel like there's a whole lot of things going on because he's still tied to the old stuff that's kind of gone now, the Julian stuff and all that and everything. But if Ulbricht is now being okay because she didn't do the stuff she said, I'm trying to remember, is he involved in this? I'm trying to figure out what he's involved in. Like, it's again something convoluted. Like, was he part of some of that stuff too, or no? He wasn't part. He was part of something else that she was involved in, or I don't know.
Well, she was more involved in the Brad stuff in terms of Wiley's parentage.
Yeah.
That's
that he was involved with anything that she really had going on.
That's true, I guess. I'm just there's just so much. So there's so many things that went on that went dead ends. There's so many things that just kind of dropped. That we're like, they're picking up things again, kind of like, okay, and they're righting some wrongs, and they're kind of so now Ulbricht is back. So she's back, bitches, and and she's okay to be here, So now we can see her.
I just hope she hooks up with Scotty Baldwin.
I love them together.
They were fun together, and I think Ken liked working with Kathleen and vice versa. So why not?
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. Why not? Gee, why not?
I would love that, but I feel like the show so often goes away from things that show promise.
That's
like,
true.
That shows promise, and then the show goes away from it. And you're like, why? Why did you do that?
It's funny seeing Lucy. Because Lucy does the wedding. She actually got to say some lines and be there. She was actually there. I'm like, we love Lucy. I wish she was on more. It was like seeing her and Mac was just kind of nice seeing them together just on screen, because Felicia, of course, couldn't be there.
Of course.
Well, The thing is I'm very forgiving with the way that it is now, though. It is a matter of it's a lot more to get people who aren't in LA these days with the restrictions. So Christina Wagner may not be local. I don't know, but I was just saying she may not be local. She may not have wanted to do it for whatever reason. So there's a lot of other factors involved because of that I'm willing to just be like, okay, but Mac was there, great. And yeah, I love Lucy. Anytime you have Lucy, because I actually like the friendship sort of thing they have with her and Valentine because he begged for all deception. Like that makes sense.
Yeah. And she always got along with Max, everybody. She got along with everybody. So for her being there was not a big problem. She had nothing against Anna. So I mean, it's like there's no conflicts there either. So it worked. But just it's funny. Like,
they work together.
Tap her for a minute. So it's like, okay, she's on there. So now this whole week we're going into, it'll be very interesting to see kind of what fallout happens because it's gonna be very, Max at the hospital now and try to, with the baby, and she's gonna be okay, I guess. Peter's been knocked out, Franco's involved somehow, clearly. You still got the mission, Frank. The mission hasn't happened yet, so we don't know if Dante's still feeling that.
Gotta complete that.
Okay, all kind of stuff going on there. So I don't know, kids. So it's going to be interesting.
I mean, one thing with Britt though, I do like her telling Mac, just like saying how important Maxie is to her, that she was, gonna take her. Like those little bits of moments that you can sprinkle in, much like you do with Valentine, where they can show human empathy towards other characters and express their feelings. That's great, and it goes a long way when you want to start doing the bridge or all those other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It makes it so much more well-rounded of a character.
I agree.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that completely. And that's your GH for the week and the past couple of weeks and whatever we did. I mean, that's we talked. That's enough for that tonight. No, but everybody, thank you for 56 people who are in here. Make sure you hit that like button if you liked us. Sure. I like the comments. You guys do comment. Thank you in the chat room, participating in the chat room with us. I see a lot of familiar faces and faces. I can't see you. I'm in your house. I can see you all now. Familiar names in here. So we like that every week. We're glad to be back. We might be back next week. I'm not sure yet. I have something happening. I was not going to be here next week, but I might be here next week. So just stay tuned. Follow GH Spotlights on Facebook. Follow GLG Media everywhere. Follow us, and I'll give you the details. So we may be back next week. But
what a cliffhanger!
Yes, it's a cliffhanger. I'm not even trying to be a cliffhanger. Just I have a couple things I'm waiting for that'll determine if I'm going away this week or not. So when I find that out, I'll let you guys know. So you either see us next week or the following week. But Lacretia Lyon, somebody can find you, of course. Do your thing.
Since I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys, you can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one.
Thank Moran.
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at HappyGoJackie.
And you can follow me. We're all James Lott Jr. Sold at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms, including TikTok. That's right, kids. Follow me there. I have a rap battle going on between Phil Svitek, Flowo Voice, and myself. We have a rap battle going, and it's kind of crazy. So you want to check that out if you know us After Buzzers. It's stupid. But we're having fun doing it. Everybody, please be careful out there. I know some states have opened back up. One of the states that she's in down there. Good luck to you guys there.
We still wear our mask.
Oh, you do? Okay, good. But just be careful down there. Just be careful down there. Oh, my goodness. And then also, we're opening up a little bit in LA now. We're starting to open up here a little bit. So everybody, just please be careful wherever you are. Still take precautions if you can. I want everybody to be safe and not catch this weird thing. If you're getting vaccinated, good for you. I'm waiting for my turn to get vaccinated. I'm not old enough yet, apparently. I'm old, but not old enough yet. Trying to figure that out, I guess. But please be careful, be safe, and we'll see you next time.